20 years ago, a seed was planted and cared for. We painstakingly nurtured it and weathered it against adversity until one day it blossomed and the fruits of our labor began to show. Today, millions have learned, shared, and been inspired by what our community has produced. We proudly served 21 million users from 204 countries in 2019. For our 85,000 technical articles, code samples, and videos, our 450,000 forum questions, and our highly anticipated conferences and events featuring keynote panels, live streams, and industry experts and influencers. We recognize and reward members for their dedication to the community. Through content contributions and mentorships, we ranked number 2,620 in the world with a reach of millions across our social media channels. Thanks to you, our global community of software and data developers grows stronger each day. For more information, visit us at CSharpCorner.com.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Growth Mindset Show live here on CSharpCorner. My name is Mahesh Chan. I'm founder of CSharpCorner. If you are joining us back from previous episodes, welcome back to the show. If you're joining us first time, welcome to the show. As some of you may already know from either our social media or our direct channel accounts, this show is every Friday noon Eastern time, US Eastern time. It's about, I think it's 9:30 in India. If you're joining us from India, we get a lot of our audience from. I'm sure Europe is sometime. It's a little early. It's in the evening. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And welcome to the show. On this show, we talk about different things. Usually we talk about growth mindset, and we were, running a series on build better software. But what is happening in India during this COVID pandemic, we have changed the topic for at least next few weeks until the COVID situation is under control. So we are going to talk about, COVID, how people are helping, how we can all help collectively, what can be done, and how we can bring more awareness to the our audience. And that's really this is all about right now. It's more about urgency. It's not about just watching and being a cheerleader on the side. It's more about actively participating and safely participating, actually, not just actively participating. Today we are going to bring a lot of guests during the show. We are going to also talk about in Hindi as well. So I'll try my Hindi. I have not talked in Hindi for a long time. So, and if you are watching us, everybody, looks like a lot of people joining us. Hello, everyone. If you're watching us, you want to participate, you want to come direct on the show, live behind the scene, please ask Simon. He's our producer and behind the scene person. He'll let you in. Today is open. This show is open today. We also have Alan on the show. Guest Alan O'Neill. I'm sure many of you already know Alan. He's our advisor on CSharpCorner. He's also Microsoft Regional Director, CTO of his own in Data Bytes and many other things. So let's get started. I'm here in Philadelphia. It's nice weather these days. Weather's getting nice. In US, actually, situation of COVID is getting better. I'm very optimistic about it. We are close to, I would say, half of the population is already has has shots. So that's a good news. The cases are going down. Deaths are obviously going down as well. But when I see all the news and stories coming from India, it's just bad. And that's what made us really, get this more attention here. Let me bring, Alan on the show, our guest today, friend of mine. Look at that. I should have my mask too. I think that's smart, just giving the message. Maybe I'll go and have in. Good thing is I don't really go outside. So, but hey, Alan, good morning, good afternoon to you. Actually,
How
you
are
are
you?
joining us from Europe.
Yeah, I'm currently based in Southern Ireland right now. I know that you can't see my lips speaking except my eyes going up and down. And as you say, I did this to make a point. And
Yes.
the point is to make sure that we all remember that there's some critical things that we need to do. I consider India to be my second home. Um, in fact, if I wasn't partnered to my current lovely partner, I would probably be living and resident in India. I love it, and I love my friends there, my community, my engineering community, and my wider um, standard Indian community. I love it, and I was especially really saddened to hear the news in recent weeks come out of India, how things have gotten so bad. And this is why we started talking among the leadership in C Sharp Corner and said, we need to talk about this, and we need to talk um, about how we can harness our community of amazing people, amazing engineers, IT professionals, IT support folk, everybody who's involved in our community, both from a foreground point of view as speakers and all of the background organizers, and most importantly, the people who are out there every day doing the work and learning and sharing in our community. How can we bring everybody together and use this community to help us make a difference in our wider community? So one of the things that has always made me angry and annoyed about the COVID situation is people not wearing their masks. Now, I know there's no need for me to wear it here in the room. I'm in my own office in the back of the house, and everybody here stays together in our own little bubble under vacuum. If I was working in an office right now, I would be and I should be wearing my mask. And it's not just to protect me, it's to protect the people around me. And the way I'm wearing a mask right now is the way to wear a mask. This is not the way to wear a mask. Don't
Yes.
wear a mask as a chin strap. That's not
This
how
is
to
not.
protect them.
Yeah, this is not a show off. I see a lot of people like showing off, even friends I know, family I know. This is not a show off, and people are ignorant. Like I'm healthy or I already have my shots. It's this is as you said. It's not really about you. It's all about as a society. It's all about, do you really think about others? How are you helping? It's most people who are dying from COVID are the one, they are, they have bad health, they're elderly, or they have some underlying conditions, so you are putting them at risk, so you are just being basically selfish in this region, in this
Let's not
regard.
even let's not even talk about being selfish. Let's talk about practical things. So I recall a number of years ago, it was probably about 15 years ago at this stage, I was driving my car, and it was reasonably late at night, and it was a country road. And I went and I turned this particular corner, and it was a blind corner. You couldn't see around the corner, but I turned the corner, and I was going reasonably slowly. And as soon as I turned the corner, you know the way you feel something is wrong before you even realize what it is? So
Yep.
there was actually a car um, about maybe 200 feet in front of me, turned upside down. So,
Wow, in the corner,
yeah,
yeah.
what had
Flip.
happened was that seconds beforehand, literally maybe 1 second beforehand, that car had flipped because of a particular reason, not go into it, and it was upside down and it was in my way. So had I been going any faster, I would have smacked into it. I would have hurt the people who were still in the car, and I would have, hurt myself. The point here that I'm going to make is I was driving safely. Okay. I was driving within the limits. I was doing the right thing. What wasn't happening was the person who was driving the other car, they weren't driving safely. So even though you can go and you can take care of yourself, You've got to plan for the stupidity of others, right? In
Yep.
IT and engineering and software, we always say never underestimate the damage that a user can do to your system, okay? Never underestimate the stupidity that a user can bring along. And I'd like us to consider that everybody who is part of our community, we're engineers, we're IT professionals, we're programmers, we're sysops, we are all clever people. There's nobody here who isn't a clever person, who isn't scientifically driven, mostly because we're all in the STEM field, we're all in the technology field, and we're geeks and everything else. So it is very important that we do a number of things, and I've tried to boil it down to 3 key points. And the first one is know the science. Okay, we are all scientists. We are all scientists in our community. We all practice computer science, technology science, information science, data science, right? And we all know that the foundation of everything is built on logic. And we know that we do things built on the expertise of others. It has been scientifically shown that when we take our masks and we wear our masks, that not when we wear it like a chin strap like this with our nose out, but when we wear it properly, not only will it slow down the progression of molecules of air outwards, but also coming inwards, right? Just because I don't have COVID doesn't mean that I can't spread it to others. So it's not just about what comes out in the breath, it's also what's on the hands. So there's the first 2 key messages are, number 1, wear the mask properly and encourage other people to wear the mask. And number 2 is sanitization. Because while the first spread of vector of the COVID germ and virus is through the breath and through water molecules from the body, the second one is through contact surface. So it's critically important that we keep our sanitizer and we wash our hands whenever we're in public and we touch something. And this just doesn't mean going underneath water and doing this here. It means having our sanitizer and doing it properly. And there's a way that we clean our hands. And this is not 100% medical, but I want you just to observe that I'm cleaning every surface of my hand. I take my sanitizer or I take my soap and water, not just water, soap and water. And I cover every surface of my hand, back and front, along the sides, okay? So like you're saying, oh, I want all this lovely money, okay? The back and the front of all the hands, inside each of your fingers, so all of the surface, then the tips of the fingers, and don't forget about the thumb, okay? So now I've covered all surfaces of my hand. Now the science behind this is very easy to understand. There's 2 parts. When I use some sanitizer, there is a minimum of 60%. There must be a minimum of 60% alcohol. I'm pretty sure it's 60 and not 70. 60% alcohol in the sanitizer. And what this does is this actually breaks apart the molecule of the virus, okay? Thereby making it inactive. It is not able to use these awful spikes that it has to grab on to other elements in the human body, right? To attach the virus. So we break apart the wrapper of the virus using alcohol. The second thing that we do is when we use soap and water, it's not water that does it, it's soap. Soap actually breaks down the skin around the virus also. It breaks down the outer shell and will wash it off your hand like a detergent, right? So it makes it slippy and it makes it fall away. So we can use the alcohol just to kill the shell. It may stay on our hands, but it's now destroyed. But we can use more effectively soap with water to help us to break the molecule and to wash it off our hands because that acts like a slippery surface. Okay. So the two things to know from science are we reduce the spread of it by ensuring that our breath is protected from sending out to others and receiving in from others. And secondly, ensuring that our hands are clean at all times, especially when we're out in the open. We're okay when we're inside, so long as we're within our bubble. But outside, it's critically important to keep our hands clean and washed. So they're the two things, the first two things.
So first, I'm sure you guys learned first two things. Welcome, Rijwan, Rohit, Satya, Sarvesh, your choice, and JH, Preeti. Welcome to the show. Today we are talking about, on this show, today we're talking about COVID, what's going on in India, how we can get involved, help, what we can do first ourselves, protect ourselves, and then protect others, and then we can even reach out to others. Please feel free to everybody join in, post your comments. We want to hear from you, more from you. What you're doing in your community, what have you done, what have you seen, what people are not doing, what messages we should give here, or what awareness we can bring. And today, Ellen just explained two very important things. Wear a mask. It's not a show off mask. Wear it properly, right? Cover your nose. Cover your mask should be big enough. So if you're you're like breathing on in a public with other people, make sure it covers the whole area, and also properly use sanitizers and soap, and wash your hands properly. And it's not really about, you, sure, most of us are, healthy, young, and probably won't get this, COVID, or we may not even feel it, but it's all about thinking about others. And that's what makes it all human. Is, the difference between animal and human is that human are more, they have a brain. The brain is very smart, right? Can think of a lot more things besides they're about just themselves, right? Animal has limitation. Animal can only think about themselves, their families, that's about it, and how to protect and feed. But as a human, we have this smart, intelligent brain. We can think about a lot more things. And that's what this community makes it special, because we are, you are, everybody here is very smart, and we are capable of helping others as well, not just ourselves. So yeah, go ahead. So Alan just talked about first two things. Let's talk about your three things, and then I want to bring some other topics. We're also going to bring some guests. So if you just recovered from COVID, how you feel, or you're somebody's already going through it, we want to bring you on the show, and also talk about the situation in India and why they're growing. And I think I have my opinion. I got some data also on that. So we'll continue talking about these things. Just jump in, please. Chime in, post your comments, ask your questions.
The next thing I want to talk about, the science, is about the vaccine, right? And I want to address one particular thing about the vaccine. The vaccine is not some conspiracy by Bill Gates. It's not a conspiracy by the World Bank. It's not some kind of thing from Elon Musk that's going to put an AI bot in your bloodstream, right? It's a very clever piece of science, and it has been designed by incredibly clever people to help us stay alive. And it doesn't make you sick, okay? It won't make you die, okay? It will help you. It will help your community around you. It will help your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your granddad, your grandfather, your uncles, your aunts. It will help everybody. I received my first injection yesterday, and of the Pfizer vaccine, and I got it in this arm here, and the nurse gave it to me, and she said, here's a little scratch, which they always say when you're getting an injection, right? It actually was just a little scratch. I said, oh, is that it? And she said, yeah. Like if she went and slapped my face, that would have hurt more. Okay. So it was nothing. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm asking Una to bring me in a mask here because I want to show the correct use of one. The second thing is, how do you feel after you get the vaccine? Well, I felt fine after it. Some people feel some mild form of flu or cold-like symptoms, so they might get a mild headache for a day or two. They might have a small head cold or feel very tired or something like this. But that's normal, because what happens when you get a vaccine is you are given a mild, tiny, microdose of the actual thing itself. Okay. And the idea is that rather than being attacked with the huge full virus, they give you the tiniest piece of it so that your body can build up immunity to this. Okay. And that's the key, is that your body says, "Ooh, we don't know what this is. We're going to attack this, and we're going to learn how to fight it, so that if you come into contact with it again, suddenly, bang, it knows how to cope with it." And the efficacy, the effectiveness of the vaccine is incredibly high. It is over 95%. That's the first thing, is that it prevents you over 95% of actually getting COVID after that. The second thing is even more important. It is 100% effective, that even if you do get it, you will not die from it. Okay? If we look at all of the people who are dying in this world right now because of COVID, this can be prevented by taking the vaccine. Now, somebody has asked a really good question, or made a statement in the comments, saying they won't take the vaccine because they think they are strong enough and they have good immunity. So let me tell you, right now, the most vulnerable people are at both ends of the spectrum. They are the older people, and guess what? They're the younger people who think they are fit and healthy and immune. It has been shown that there are more deaths in the under 30s right now than there are in those middle grouped people, right? In addition, if you go out and you think that you're strong and you're healthy and you're going to get everything, and you won't get good immunity, and you won't get it, and because of this you're going around and you're being more careless and reckless, that is stupid. Yes, you can trust the Chinese vaccine. Yes, you can trust the Russian vaccine. You can trust all of the vaccines, because every single one of the vaccines has been authorized by the WHO, the World Health Organization, and they will not allow these to be sold and used in public. Yes, absolutely, you can trust the Chinese vaccine. Now, I will have my next vaccine booster in 4 weeks' time, and I will tell everybody how I got on after this and how I got on in the meantime. I want to jump back to masks for 1 second. My partner Una kindly brought me in one of these. This is the standard mask that we see around, and we see this on television, especially down in India, people using this. It's very important that we wear this in the correct way. The correct way is not like this. That's the first thing, okay? The correct way also is not like this. It is also not like this, and it is certainly not like this, okay? Because you look stupid. Now, no, I was being facetious. What I want to point out about this is there's two sides actually to these masks, and an up and down. If you look carefully, you can see there is a blue side on the front. There is a white side on the back. Do you see that? Blue side, white side. Okay, the blue side goes to the front. The second thing is that there is a piece of wire at the top of the mask. Okay, it's not at the bottom of the mask.
Yes.
It's at the top of the mask, right? And what's meant to happen is you're not meant to just put it on your face like this and that's it. You're meant to mold it to the shape of your face. So first of all, you can hold it at the top, and at the bottom, you pull it. What's happening? Look, it's like this accordion player music device, like a music player box. I pull it down, you see, and it opens up to fill my face. That's the first thing. It's coming under my chin. The second thing is that there's now a gap in here, and there's a gap at the side. So what I should be doing now is I should be pinching the wire over my nose like this. Now look at the difference. I know I look a bit silly, but that doesn't matter. I'm safe. The difference is that this is pushed in by my nose, so there is no gap in here. There's no gap at the side, and it's pulled down fully underneath my chin, okay? So this is how we wear it. So again, to go over it, with the blue mask, you wear it with the white side in and the blue side out. And when you put it onto your face, you make sure that you pinch the top wire so that it forms over your nose a good seal, and you pull the bottom part underneath your chin. Okay?
Yep.
So that's the blue mask, which everybody is most common with. I think Rohit there, Mahesh, has a good story to tell. And also Veena is talking about the Moderna vaccine. So he's saying that he took the first and the second dose, and he's doing great. And it's been 2 weeks before he has since he's had the second dose. And
well, congratulations, Vinay. Yeah, congratulations. I have my first Moderna. Second, I get on May 12th. So that's great. That's great.
So, Rohit,
so let's take the Rohit. Let's talk about this issue, right? And this is really in India. Is one of the thing is this weddings, right? And I know my personal family where I just talked to my uncle today this morning, and he's engineer. He has COVID right now as we speak. No, we got only first vaccine, first dose. But my auntie and son, they are going to wedding. So that's not the one case. I have my friends, they're like going to, maybe not now, but week before they were like partying they are like in a bar. Or I see in villages, everybody is still in India doing the weddings. Okay. I talked to a friend, he works in, and I know it's like, why are you doing wedding right now? It's like, well, my brother is getting engaged, so I'm going there. And then in I don't know, certain part of the India, especially where I live in UP, there's still elections going on. And elections got going on in villages now. And these elections mean nothing really. They're like local elections. They can wait 3 months, 6 months. So now this COVID is now spreading in villages that was safer in earlier phase. And that was the big part of India where people don't have resources. They don't have doctors. They don't have medicine. They don't even have anything. So what the hell is going on there? That's what I want to hear from people. Like more people just jump in from local stages. You can come and talk in Hindi also. I just don't understand why the elections are going on, why government is not kind of banning these weddings and mass gatherings. That seems to be like a failure from the government.
So one of the things, just to talk to the wedding, obviously weddings, social gatherings, religious meetings, funerals. I would say a close family friend of ours, their son died in tragic circumstances recently. He was only a very, very young man. He was in the army. He was extremely fit, and he unfortunately had one of those those very rare heart attacks that young people sometimes have. It's an anomaly of the cardiac system that happens once in a million, and it was just a sudden cardiac death. The thing is that it was obviously incredibly tragic for him as a young man, his friends, his fiancée. They were due to get married shortly afterwards, and of course for his parents and his family. But here's the thing: in normal times, all of his friends and family, the friends and family of the people who were left behind, they would have come and they would have brought food, and they would have brought their sympathies, and they would have spent time and everything else. They would have gone to the religious ceremonies. They would have stayed and prayed and everything else. They couldn't do it this time. And out of respect, not only for the young man who died and his family, but for the wider community, they stayed away because it was the right thing to do, because they knew the science, and they knew that just by going along to this, yes, a sadness at the young person dying, but also a celebration of their life, they were going to raise the possibility of spreading this virus. And it is
Yeah.
so important. It is so important to abide by the rules. The rules are there for a reason, you know. And Rohit there says that he has seen people and then are seeing people die from COVID. But the issue is that they only become cautious after they see people die from it. And this is
Yep.
very true, that we think that it's not going to happen to us, right? We think that we're invincible. We'll never
Yes.
die. Our parents will never die. Our beloved grandma will never die. Well, the thing is, they do. And what I want you to imagine, and I know that a lot of time I'm all funny and everything else and trying to be jovial. I'm really trying to be serious about this now. I really am,
Yeah.
right? I want you to think how you are responsible for somebody else's parent, grandparent, mother, father, daughter, lover, son, whatever. You are responsible for them dying by not wearing your mask, by mingling and going out where you shouldn't, where you've been told and people have pleaded with you not to. You're responsible for this. It is on you. It is on your shoulders. And if you see your mum, your brother, your uncle, your colleague, your best friend, any of these people getting it, becoming incredibly ill and dying, right? Suddenly it brings this message home to you. We shouldn't have to have somebody close to us die before we understand the message. We are important people in the community. We are leaders in the community. We are intelligent. We are engineers. We are scientists. We should take the science. We should believe the science. We should spread the word about the science. We should make
Yep.
sure that people understand this. And the second thing that I wanted to spread, the first thing was to know the science and to share the science. The second thing I wanted to say to people is to please be practical and generous with your resources. And this means that if there is something that you know how to do, that you can help somebody else with, that will ease the burden of this COVID pandemic, please do it. So, for example, one of the things that we'll be talking about in future shows, I'm looking around my desk here, it will relate to this here. This is, I know it looks like an old film rig, but actually what it is it is 3D printing filament. Okay, so in a later show, we're going to talk about how any of our community who have 3D printers, and you can see one over here behind me in the background in my dirty workshop, my unclean, untidy workshop. We're going to talk about in a future show in the next couple of days how any of our friends and colleagues in the community who have a 3D printer can use that to help their local community, because we can print out devices, we can print out lung machines, we can print out lasers to help doctors take temperature, we can print out full face masks. There's many things we can do with these, and we need to help people. Okay, so we're going to be able to doing this. We also have Mahesh, do you want to talk about a donation link that's going up there at the moment?
Yeah, so I want to talk about I want to continue this topic, right? How can you help? Are you really helping, right? We are in our different capacities can help different ways, right? I want to spend some time how people are helping others, like how are you helping your neighbor they need, and you brought the good point earlier Alan this week is what we can do as a, as either neighbor or friend or even coworker. How can we really help? Means taking the actions, not just talking about. And I'll give you an example. We are promoting a donation link on, C Sharp Corner, my personal account, and all that. There's so many people are liking it. This I just hate this stupidity of social media and liking things. Like, people think like, because I'm liking it, I'm done with my job. That means nothing. That's useless. That's, you're wasting everybody's time. If you're liking my thing, great, I'm your friend, but guess what? You're not helping anybody. This is the time to take an action. I would rather have 0 likes and 5 donations than million likes and 0 donations. Okay, I see all the people they're liking and all that, but there's no donations. What am I going to do with likes? This Facebook and all these social media have spoiled our mind that once I like something, I'm done with my job. Okay, so if you are one of those guys, and I'm going to call all of you, if you just go and like the things, I don't care. Okay, I want to see some action. You don't have to tell me. There are also people, it's just do something. If you're already doing, that's awesome. Thank you so much. You don't have to really publicly announce it or participate here, but see how you can help. Number one, start with yourself. That don't spread, right? Don't become the spreader, right? So make sure what Ellen just said. How are you wearing mask? Is it mask is wearing right way? Are you using hand sanitizers? Then are you also telling your friends and family to follow the rules? Sometimes you may have to be strict. Listen, I know my dad, if I tell him something, he lives in a village, he's not going to listen to me. But put your foot down. Maybe you want to be more strict there. Like, listen, if you're going outside, don't spread, bring this to our children, or kind of figure out what they would listen to. Okay, some people are they just don't think about themselves. They think they are invincible. Like, somebody just posted here, they think they are like, healthy and immune and all that nonsense. But guess what? You have to put your foot down, not just because of them or you, but because of maybe your children, or they may go spread it somewhere. That's number one you can do. Number two you can do is, if you have a good job, you are willing, you have just few dollars you can donate, go ahead and donate. And I want to talk about donation here. If you are, if you believe in, giving back and down and all that, there are 3 kind of donations, right? One is donation is where you give unknown, nobody knows about it. That's probably the best donation. Second is you obviously give somebody, help somebody, and talk about it. Then third one is, okay, you take a picture with some poor guy posting on social media how good you are doing. Don't do that last one, okay? If any of you have read Gita says, if you are doing a donation or dawn for a reason of getting something in return, or making fun of people, or trying to post on social media saying how cool you are, that kind of dawn is just useless, and you'll get nothing in return from that. So you gotta be mindful of that. How are you helping people? You don't just be arrogant about it. Don't post on social media, look, I'm giving food to that many people. I mean, great, you're doing it, but it doesn't make sense. I just don't like that part of it. So think about, what are you doing right now? Anything else, Alan, maybe you want to add here? And anybody, let's bring some of our guests, what they are doing or how they can help, and they can share their stories after that.
The first thing is, don't say to yourself, I can do nothing. Everybody can do something, okay? Everybody can do something. The most important thing you can do is spread your knowledge, spread the truth about masks, spread the truth about vaccines, spread the truth about washing hands, right? Disease is stopped in its tracks when we keep things clean. This is what Florence Nightingale found. She was our very first data scientist, our first proper medical engineer, okay? So Florence Nightingale said, wash, 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 and the germs will go away. This is what we need to do, okay? Now, from the point of view of helping out, we will be giving more practical examples over the coming time in the coming shows. For today, the thing is to ask yourself, what can I do? What can I do locally to help out? So if we simply consider something like Is there somebody in our local community, right, who is less able than I am? Is there somebody who is elderly, who maybe hasn't got family locally because they all live in a different city? Do we know that there is somebody who is homeless nearby? Do we know that there is an organization that normally depends on volunteers nearby, right? Can we bring them some food? Can we help them out by saying, can I man your emails for a day? Can I help you out by getting, if it's somebody who is maybe immobile or is at high risk of COVID, maybe somebody who is already sick and is isolating, maybe you can say to them, hey, I can help by doing your grocery shopping. So I know that you're isolated. I know that we have to keep you in quarantine. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to go near you. But what I can do is, if you leave a note of what you want under the door or send it to me by your mobile phone, I can help you by going out safely. I can do some grocery shopping. I can have my gloves on. I'll have my mask on. I'll practice my social distancing, and I can leave your groceries in the bag outside the door for you. I will then, back away, and I'll phone you and I'll say, your stuff is outside the door. So you can come outside and you can safely get it. Maybe it's a case that somebody has who is not so well. Maybe they have an underlying condition. Maybe they have diabetes. Maybe they have some autoimmune disease, but they still have to get on with the life of the family, right? So maybe the kids still have to go to school, right? So could you maybe offer to bring the kids to school so they don't have to expose themselves to the public and get the germs, right? These kind of small practical things aren't going to cost you any money. No money. What they will cost you is one thing. And this is the one thing that you can give to somebody that they cannot get themselves. And that's time, your time, right? It's the biggest thing that you can give to anybody, because time is finite, okay? We can only spend time once. So if we can give our time to somebody, we are helping them more than anything else, right? So if you say to yourself, I have no money to give, I have no magic 3D printer, there's no point in building any apps or doing anything fancy, what can I do that is practical? Okay, what can I do that's practical? Can you even say to a local shelter, hey, I'm going to come down and I'm actually going to bring down some extra cans of dal for the day to help out the homeless, right? We know that there is a tremendous problem in our communities in India with day workers, right? And day workers who work by the day, and IT people, we're really, really lucky. Like, we are so privileged. We really are. We are able to work with our brains. We are able to have a good salary. We can care for our families. We're paid more than most other jobs in our industry. We are highly sought after, respected people, respected individuals. And there's so many other people who don't have our background, maybe the opportunities that we had to learn, the opportunities to have these particular good jobs and careers that we have. And they can only make money and care for their families on a day-to-day basis. This is the rickshaw driver, is the person who cleans out the building. There's so many different people out there that are humans, just like the rest of us. Okay, everybody is human. But they don't have the opportunity to work remotely. Okay, you can't drive a rickshaw remotely unless you're a robot of some sort. Okay, so we need to help these people as well. And if we can't help them by, saying here's money or here's a job, well, we can at least help by saying there's some food. There's a warm blanket if it's getting cold at night, right? If you have a job that needs to get done, and you can employ somebody that you wouldn't normally do it safely, well, then do this, right? But the critical part is that you can help by helping others in your neighborhood who are not as well off as we are.
Yep. Hey, welcome Ravi to the show. Hopefully you're feeling better now.
Yeah, hi Mahesh. I'm feeling better now. I have almost fully recovered. I would say it has been around, I think, 15 days now since I got my report of COVID positive. So I have almost, you can say that 95% I have recovered. I still have slight weaknesses, so I don't sit for long hours. I usually sit for around 1.5 hour, and then I take break. Instead of earlier,
Yeah.
what I was doing that I used to like sit for 40-45 minutes and then I stand. But now I sit for 40-45 minutes and then I sleep. So,
Well,
so
so
that's
this is a
how.
perfect example, right? I want to bring you in this perfect example. You're very healthy. You are regular exercising. You have no
Yep.
problems. So you want to tell guys,
Yep.
people who are watching, that this COVID is not really doesn't care if you're healthy and
Agreed.
young. Yeah.
Agreed. If you made a mistake, the moment you made a mistake, you are susceptible for COVID. the uh, the mistake which I made was like I drove for 15 hours in whole day, in spite of my tired condition. So, and that was the thing which kind of broke my immunity, which kind of led me getting COVID and all those things. I was kind of infected in this, that long travel, that long driving, because I was not, I didn't slept for a couple of days because of some other reasons. I was visiting my hometown, and then I was coming back, and I drove for continuous 15 hours, and then the next day I got fever and all those things. But the main thing is that you don't have to, you don't have to take the symptoms lightly. Whatever you have, the moment you have any symptom, the moment you get a sore throat, the moment you get a blocked nose, the moment you get your first fever, just talk to the doctor the moment, and start the medication. Early medication and early detection is the key for recovery. That's the only thing. And the second thing is, apart from medicines, always drink lukewarm water and take steam every 3 times a day. Even if you are healthy right now, even if you are healthy, the best, you can say the best defense is the best offense, that is, you have to take steam 3 times a day or 2 times a day, depending upon your availability. Take the steam is the only thing which kills the virus. So apart from sanitization, my suggestion would be, the moment you come home from outside, take a bath, take steam, and get relaxed. So that's the main thing. You have to drink lukewarm water and you have to take steam. These two are sure shot way. Even doctors suggest all the patients, and rest all the medication what they are doing based on the symptoms. So if you have fever, they give you fever medicine. If you have sore throat, they give you sore throat medicine. There is no medicine for this particular problem. The only medicine or the only defense is steam and lukewarm water. So do
If
that,
I could,
and I think that
Awesome.
will suffer.
if I can just jump in there,
Good
there's
point.
there's,
Yeah.
there's two other points here. The other thing, Ravi, that I'm sure that you will agree with is, in addition to what you have said, isolate
Yes.
Yeah,
yourself. If you
isolation is
feel
there.
that you have
Yes.
this, isolate.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we
even
have been
I was
isolated.
Yeah, so I was talking to Simon
I
this morning, and he's not feeling well, and he just got COVID negative, and I was like, listen, even your COVID negative, it doesn't make sense to you to go for another test. Just isolate yourself and pretend like you have COVID. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
yeah,
If you have a room, just
Yeah,
stay in your
yeah.
room, and that's the
yeah,
best way to start with.
yeah.
Isolate, isolate, and take medication of whatever problem you have. Even if you are right now in your second wave of COVID, in the second mutated version of COVID, many COVID tests are coming as negative. My son was tested as negative. Me and my wife were positive. My son was tested negative, but just after 3 days, he also got fever. So we followed the same symptoms from him. Even though earlier, both me and because my son always, since he is pretty young, he's 8 9 years old, so he always remained with his mother. So I usually sleep in separate room, where I am right now sitting. So this is my kind of whole setup. So I used to sleep in this room. I still sleep in this room, and we kind of I isolate myself from them. They remain in different room. But even though now, since all of us are COVID positive, so we don't wear mask at the home, but yes, we maintain distances. There is very less hugging and all those things. Now it is fine, because now we have kind of recovered. Everybody is out of danger, touch wood. So but the main thing is, and we have as I live in a society, and in our society we have WhatsApp group. We share resources, links and everything. If anybody is in need of oxygen, that's how I help other people. There are people in society who call me almost every second day, every third day. I call some people whom I know that okay, they are COVID positive. We our society RWA daily, they put a list of how many people have recovered, how many people are still positive, and we as a support society support each other. So I think that's the way we support, that's the kind of donation I would say we are doing. And we kind of make other people aware also that just right now many people have made business also out of it. Recently, like Bikaner wala has started this quarantine thali. Frankly speaking, don't order that quarantine thali. It is shit. The food is shit. They are just trying to get the tax benefit out of it, because they are just selling it as a quarantine thali, but that food is shit. And because we most of the time we try to order food, because the thing is that right now we are not that much recovered that we prepare food 3 times a day. So most of the time what we do, that we order out once or twice a times. And earlier we used to call from a nearby neighbor house. The food was coming from their house, but now they are also sick, so they we are asking for, we are getting it from some other tiffin service and all those things. But we thought of trying out new avenues also. So we thought of trying out this one, that it is cheap, it is cheaper, it is affordable, but don't try out that. So many people are making a business out of it also. Get it from your trusted sources, I would say.
No,
It's
that's.
really,
I think
it's really
you had
good.
a definitely good point. I think one way we all can educate others is that you can share your. Hey, listen, I was young. I just please, this is real. And definitely, again, I want to go back, which is the hardest thing is convince your family. That's the hardest part is nobody listens, especially your family will not listen. Okay, neighbor, everybody else listen to me, us, but your family is hardest to convince. All right, Simon, can we bring also more
I think
guests,
I
please?
think
Yeah.
once they see a family member, they also listen. So nowadays, frankly speaking, everybody is very afraid, very fearful condition. Frankly speaking, people are dying left, right, and center, and we are listening so many negative news. Frankly speaking, I have stopped my COVID update and all those things. The only thing which I keep is I talk to my friends and we keep in the circle, but I don't follow the news and all those things, because so much anxiety is there, and we are already recovering from these things. These kind of negative news keep us more anxious. So people are listening. Even my family members, my parents who are living in village, they are following all the protocol. They always, whenever they don't go outside because they are elderly. So there are village people who are helping them out with the whatever needs they have, daily needs. They are helping them out. But we talk to them daily in morning as well as evening, and they take care of this thing. Like my mother got reaction with COVID vaccination. So I don't know whether they will go for second shot or not, because she has a severe reaction with first shot of COVID vaccine. But still,
So-
yeah,
Ravi said
that is
something
there.
really
So-
interesting there, and maybe before we bring somebody else on, it would be good to reinforce that. Ravi said that he lives in a society, which is great, and that one of the things that they do is they have a WhatsApp group and they talk to each other. Oh my God! Imagine talking to other
Agreed.
people, right? So
Yes,
there was certainly a thing at the start of COVID. Where people were embarrassed about it, people were being isolated and ostracized because of it. They were being maybe, shunned because of it, right? But actually, one of the important things to do, even if you can't physically help out, even if you can't, go and do somebody's shopping or anything else, pick up the WhatsApp and say, how are you today? How are you
Yep.
feeling?
Yes.
Okay.
Talk to
That
people.
can help
Right.
somebody's mental health so much, okay, that they know other people
Agreed.
are
Agreed.
not turning away from them and that are still part of the wider family and community group. That's really important. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's some
Agreed.
more
Agreed.
questions and points on there, Mahesh. Um, one of them again, talking about feeding in what Ravi did. Rohit is saying that making sure that they're not the spreader by minimizing interaction with the outside world. So this is very important, is making sure that we isolate and we keep together as a group. There's another one there
We
that, sorry, go, Ravi, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing. I don't know whether this is a appropriate platform for this or not, but people who are there in in the this developed country, they should at least push companies to make COVID patent free. So there is a lot of news that big companies are not making COVID. There are facilities who are available for creating COVID vaccines, but there is very big patent issue fighting going on. India is pushing to make COVID vaccine patent free, but US, UK, even Bill Gates said that no, COVID vaccine shouldn't be made patent free, and there are many people saying that it should be made free. Right now it's not the time to earn money. People should push large vaccine company to make it copyright free, so that
So,
everybody can build it
yeah,
and all these things.
it's interesting, and there's there's big debates around that, right? I think one of the more interesting not more interesting, one of the interesting things is that, for example, one of the vaccine companies, which I think is AstraZeneca, they are producing their vaccine at cost price. They're not
Okay.
producing a profit on it. So where they are selling it into governance at maybe $2, it is their production cost. Whereas other ones like Pfizer are selling in at $15 or $20, and they're making that 10 or 15, $12 profit on it, right? So that's certainly one thing. Another thing that is also important about that is, you're absolutely right. People in Western countries should be pushing their government and their represented elected people to do more, not just for themselves but for everybody else. For example, I was telling Mahesh, the second minister in Ireland is actually he is first generation but of Indian descent, and he is a medical doctor, and he has orchestrated, for example, recently for 700 of these. I never knew they existed. It's a machine that is self-standing oxygen generator, right? So it doesn't need to be fed with oxygen. It will take oxygen out of the air and generate it, automatically. So he has arranged for 700 of these that Ireland previously bought a year ago at the start of the thing. And because we had such very fast, very effective lockdown, we now don't need them. Okay, they're oversupply. So he has donated these down to the Indian government, and as far as I understand, they're actually in transport right now down there. So it's not just about, you're absolutely right, things like patents and stuff are really important they're part of the problem. But there's other things that Western companies can do as well, such as excess equipment for the medical hospitals and clinics that need it, that they're hoarding, that are not needed, should be distributed down to places that need it, like could be India today, could be someplace in Africa tomorrow, could be
Yep.
someplace in the Western Sahara the following day. It doesn't make any difference where it is. We are humans. We're on the only small little tiny planet that we know of in this huge big universe, and we should be doing everything that we can to help each other out of this terrible, terrible situation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
And I
true.
think
So true.
as individual, even anybody watching us, if I want to go back to the gathering, man. I know in the cities they're smarter, and it's a lockdown where you live, Ravi. But I talk to villages. There's still elections going on. There's accounting going on. There are weddings going on. There is still things are going on. They are like obviously a couple of people are sick here and there. They don't realize 2 weeks later they will be in the same situation, and they're
So
not realizing it.
Mahesh, to this, I would add one statement. There was a very popular meme in Hindi that हिंदुस्तान चुनौतियों से नहीं चूतियों से परेशान है. So that is the
Okay,
very
this will
popular
be
meme. There
this
are
YouTube is going to probably ban us.
I'm sorry. So yeah, but the thing is that
Simon,
yes, there are
yeah.
many idiots, COVIDiots they call it. So probably we need to stay away from that and follow the basic protocol. I would say. I will log off now. Probably I'll take rest. So
No, okay,
yeah,
go ahead. Feel better.
thank you.
Okay, enjoy. Listen, feel better, and we want to bring you back when you're a little bit healthy. Let's not take your
Sure.
too much
Yeah, yeah.
energy. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by. This
Thank
show
you,
is
Ravi.
almost done anyway.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ravi. Yeah. No, these are good points, and I think everybody who joined us, Alan, we're gonna just close it in, very soon. But I think I agree with that. There's COVID hits. A lot of them are there in every country, just not India. It's literally every country. Started
Yeah,
with the US. We there was no reason for hundreds of thousands people die in the US.
yeah. It
There
started
was
with
no
the very
reason.
first idiot in America. We know who that
Yes,
is.
exactly. Yes, and we are still there. Everybody's kind of following that. So with that said, I think let's recap all the points one more time, and then anything else in the end you want to say to everybody.
So I think the first one is know the science. Okay, the science is number one, wear your mask and wear it properly. Okay.
Yep.
Number
Yep.
two, the second one is be practical and generous with the resources that you have. Okay.
Yep.
We are a wide family and we need to embrace that wider community family. And the last one is help those who are less able around you. Okay,
Yep.
so help those. There are many, many different ways. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be physical. It can even be picking up the phone and saying, "How are you today?" Okay,
Yep.
and the thing is that while we might even be saying that now, because we have this terrible pandemic upon us and everything else, it's the type of thing we should be considering all of the time. That we should be
It's gonna become a new norm, right? And again,
exactly.
yeah, and to add to your points, try to convince if your family members are not following that, try to put your foot down and stay away from mass gatherings. Either it's a politics or it's a party or it's a birthday party. Sure, I understand it's once in a year, once in a month, once in a lifetime wedding. Guess what? It's better to not participate in that rather than listen. There was my friend, his father passed away, a close friend, and I didn't go. I felt bad. I'm sure he felt bad, but guess what? It's better this way one time, and I have to say sorry, I couldn't come, but it's better to be this way than spreading it more, right? And harming other people in that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The most important thing, above all, is that we stick together.
Yep.
Stick together. We're one. We're the C Sharp Corner community, and we have to look out for our wider community, and that includes the COVIDiots. Okay,
Yes.
we're the smart ones. We've got to convince them why they shouldn't be COVIDiots.
Yep. All right. With that said, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This was a special episode of Growth Mindset focused on COVID. And I think next few weeks we are going to focus on COVID and bringing different ways to participate and help each other. And then, yeah, just hopefully, thank you everybody for coming, joining us. All the comments were great. That made us feel like somebody's still listening and watching. Your participation is very important to us. And we will see you next week, same time.
And if there's anybody who wants to come along and tell their story about COVID, about getting their vaccine, about things they're doing in their community to help out, in their society, in their company, their employees, in their family, how they help convince their COVIDiot family members to do the right thing, that would be awesome as well. So reach out on the community, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yep. And thank you all. Hope you have a safe weekend and time ahead.
Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.